All right. Good morning, my dogs. It is 6:32. It is March 6th. Hope everyone's feeling all right. I woke up this morning. I was like, all right, maybe we get a little bit of follow through to yesterday's strength. I checked first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I do drink a nice, 16 ounces of water to hydrate, get my digestion going, flush out some toxins before I do the 20 at 520. Um, walk Phoenix, and then I sit down and I take a look. I say, oh, you know what? DAX is up a little bit, Asia's strong, and then I go to our futures and we're down 60 handles. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I understand we're in a bearish tape, which we are. We've been in a corrective phase. We're below the moving averages. The S&P is down about 5% or so. You know, I don't know if we're going to be down 7% off the highs in the S&P, 9, 12, 16. Everyone has their guesses. All we know is that, we did put in, a bit of a low, which we did, into this 572. And yes, it kind of held in there. Some things acted better than others. So it made some sense. Hey, maybe, the oscillator went from minus 70 to, minus 25. So a little less oversold. I'm like, might as well put some longs on a few things that have been acting well or not. Usually you're just very tactical and you have no overnights and you don't need to have them. But anyway, so with yesterday's candle where we held this, 572, went a little bit above it, I was thinking maybe we can get the 588-ish retest the 8 day that we came back to. And now, you come in today and the SPYs are down $6. So, I got to figure out, so when you come in, and you have a little bit of a curveball, you just have to figure out what's the right decision at the right time. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably add a little bit to some of the things that I'm in that acted well yesterday. Maybe they try and go red to green. And if that's the case, I'll make a lot more money than if they opened them up and I just sold them into strength. But if, they hit a little bit of a low and things can rally, and then if we don't hold this lower area, this 572 to 573, I would think we're going to retest this or see, not even retest this 565, 564 area, or at least the 200 day. So for me, we'll see how it goes. It'll be a bit of a complicated morning, but complicated mornings happen in the trading business. Yes, the trading business is not easy. I also have a big community, and a lot of people are saying the same thing, that they're expecting with the way things looked. Crypto looked okay yesterday, and Microsoft bounced, and Google, they bought the dip, and Tesla stabilized, and felt like we were going to be up, and guess what? We're not up, so we'll see how it goes today. Right decision at the right time. That's all you could do. I do a thing in the morning called the 25-20 where, I try and get my mind right. I sweat it out. I had a great morning so far. I did a 20-minute workout. I was in my ice bath. I'm ready to go, and we're going to see how it goes. So SPYs, we'll see. Do we hold 572, 573? Or does it, try and pause and then nothing rallies and it breaks that, then you'll have to get out of the way. So will I. Qs also looked as if, a little bit of a higher low, trying to stabilize. Maybe we could bounce up towards the 8 day. At this point, we'll see. Does it hold 493 or 487? If not, they can go, a lot lower. We've had 2 big years. The DAX is up, I think, is it up 17% this year already or something like that? Wow. And we're down, whatever we're down. But we were up 24% last year, 20% the year before. And our, our Washington is a little, a little crazy. Anyway, so we'll see if this holds in here. So what am I long? Red Dog's on a little pallet here. It looked as if it was poking its head above yesterday's high. So that's almost like you're playing blackjack and you're like, hey, I got an 11 versus 6. I could double down on this. This is the right hand, because historically or percentage-wise, you're going to get a 10, and then all of a sudden you have a 21 versus, and then the deal could bust. So this is like, you have an 11 versus 6 in blackjack, and like all of a sudden, you hit, and, instead of getting a face card, you get a 4. You're like, oh, now I have a 15. Let's hope the dealer, has a 10 under and bust. So that's kind of like what I'm hoping here with Palantir. I could buy a little bit more. It can go green and maybe even make more money, because there was some buyers yesterday. It's not in the bad news. Like, right now you have Marvell's lower, MDB's lower. So this is a different sector. So this is in the cards to maybe, buy a little bit more. So if you're not in Palantir, maybe you could buy some and it can go red to green. This looked pretty good. Made some sense to be in it. So I'm in that one. Not NVIDIA, I was in from the day before. Okay, from the reversal. So NVIDIA, I'm very small. It's not a big deal. I thought maybe it could put in this lower pivot and retrace a little bit higher. So we'll see what happens. Hard for NVIDIA to be up when, Marvell is down what it is. Marvell is down, 16%. So obviously NVIDIA is going to be caught in this little down move. It's only actually down $2. So, who knows? Maybe NVIDIA tries to go red to green. That would be interesting. Maybe I won't have to puke it. But if NVIDIA doesn't hold this spot right here, I would think I have to sell it. This spot is what, 114? Where was NVIDIA? So it's right around there. If it could hold here, I would call that a win. What else am I in? I'm in ASTS. This I think you could add to. It has nothing to do with NVIDIA or MDB, or it's kind of like a concept name. 2 really big days. I made a lot of money in this yesterday. I would think at some point it takes out this 39. This looks really good. It's not down much. ASTS is what? It's down 82 cents. So I'm not worried about that. My biggest actual thing that I'm down is I'm down in the SPYs. What the hell was I doing? Usually when we're in a corrective phase, I go with some names that I know in a sea of red can go green if the futures are lower, but I kind of got sucked in. And again, I'm in the SPYs, and it's going to be tricky to see what goes on here. Can we hold this lower area or not? I'm in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at least not, I'm actually up in Bitcoin this morning. Yay. Bitcoin also closed above a prior high. IBIT closed above this. So there were some signals that I thought we would continue to the upside. And at this point, the market's saying, Red Dog, your thought wasn't correct. As of now, it's 6:39 in the morning. I've been doing this for 25 plus years or something like that. And this has happened before. It'll happen again. You're not going to make the right decision at the right time if your mind's not right. That's, again, why we have the subscribe button for Red Dog Mindset. So you can handle any situation that you're coming into. And we'll see how this goes. So far, I trimmed a little bit of this, even though, I probably shouldn't, because it's, it's stronger, but it is what it is. I'm trimming a little bit of that. I'm not in Mr. Some guys are in Mr. Mr. also cleared this lower area. So if the high growth things are leading higher, it felt as if the market would follow. And then so far, it hasn't yet. But we'll see how it goes a little bit later. If you long some Mr., I guess see, if it holds yesterday's lows and we're maybe halfway and tries to continue to get better. I'm in a little bit of wolf. I just figured that was kind of like no really reason to be in, except for if someone's like, Red Dog, you're in IBIT, you played that really well. Why aren't you in any minors? So I took the lazy approach and I bought a little bit of this. So we'll see how that goes. BABA made sense to be in. BABA's up. China's up. If you're in BABA, you don't care. BABA was really strong yesterday. BABA held above the 21-day, reclaimed the 8-day. You're above the 8-day. That means there's momentum. That means it's strong. So if you're in BABA, that's why I put BABA on as a power play yesterday. So I have a power play product where instead of, it's not like if this, then that, like the alpha team where we all make our own decisions, but we talk about what we're doing. And if you have conviction with someone, it makes you do more or less. Power play is like, hey, buy this, put your stop in a 126. If it gets above 145, add. Chances are, it's going to see 165. That's it. That's what power plays are. So it's in this, and the power play guys are chilling. Anyway, also, Dash looks like it's starting to bottom here again. Last time it bottomed after a big move, it consolidated and had a nice move. So, as long as this holds the 50-day, I think you could stay in Dash. The dip could be buyable. So I would stay with Dash also. But again, here we are. You have this whole tariff war. You have a lot of volatility. You have, 2 huge years after a lot of good years. So at this time, Europe's outperforming. I've talked about China outperforming. If you're an asset allocator, hopefully you started putting extra flows into China. I know I said starting last year. So now you're getting paid, right? FXI, is about to break out and is actually opening above 37.50. Okay, so if you've been accumulating the FXI, which is the Hang Seng of China, which is like the SPYs of the U.S., you're doing just fine. Anyway, let's see what some of my dogs are saying from around the world. Here we go. What's smart money doing out there? So Manny's asking about Meta. I bet you Meta is lower with everything else. Maybe you could buy that dip. Sailor talked about Bitcoin reverse reserve on Fox. Okay, so that's helping. Yeah, Neo's not great. Everyone wants Neo to play catch up. It's kind of crappy. Microsoft and Meta was strong yesterday. So, all right. So what are the rules? Okay, so Microsoft yesterday for the first time had a pretty decent day. So again, would have given you some thoughts saying, hey, look at that. You have a red dog reversal on Microsoft. It just took back the 8-day for the first time. Maybe you take some. So if you're long Microsoft, it's not really the wrong thing to do. It's down 6. Maybe what you do is you take your intraday chart from yesterday and you say where was it yesterday. So what's a spot to be buyable? This is Microsoft from yesterday, and that right now it's at 394. So Microsoft right now is if you go to your 5-minute, it's kind of going, right around here would be a decent spot to hold. Right, this was where it broke out from a 12.10 yesterday. So perhaps if you think that Microsoft is starting a new sequence, maybe Microsoft's buyable right there. You could do the same thing with just say even Palantir. Palantir yesterday had a nice move. It was up after hours yesterday, so you could draw your line going across here. So I would think if Palantir is going to be any good, it holds this 87-ish area. You could buy more, and then maybe it continues. So what you do is you look back at the intraday chart from the day before to figure out support to add to positions. And if it doesn't hold there, you have to say, hey, maybe this is not going to be working out in my favor. These are just rules. These are trading rules. All right. So, what's Meta doing? Meta also, Meta had a decent move yesterday. Actually, Meta, a lot of these things took out yesterday's high, showing a little bit of strength. So you didn't do the wrong thing. Again, probabilities. It's almost like I hate to, lately it feels like the market's gambling, but I hate to do it yesterday. It's like, if you're playing Texas Hold'em, you get a pair of queens, it's a good hand. You go in. Yesterday was a decent hand to go in, and maybe, you get the flop and there's not another queen there. And then you pay to go in again. And then all of a sudden, you don't get another card and you wind up losing on a pair of queens. That was a good setup. It's not like we went in on like a 6 and a 9. But anyway, so with Meta, probably the same kind of thing. What's Meta down? It's down 7. It's 648. So you go to the day chart of Meta. And that's right. So everything basically is coming back to where it was at lunchtime yesterday, before the news that, perhaps they'll relax a little bit of the news on Canada tariff-wise. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to nibble a little bit versus a 5 15-minute low and then see if things can come off lows. And if they do, maybe make money on what I'm buying in the hole this morning and then see if they get better and see, if I could work my way out of what I have from yesterday. Because, again, I'm not sold on this tape. I figured, hey, maybe we could have a little bit more of an oversold bounce. And at this point, we might still, but again, it's just you can't, get flustered. You just have to figure out today what's the right decision for today's trade that might be different from yesterday. Ford and GM. What GM do yesterday? All right. So Trump came out and said that, that you can have a tax deduction on interest paid on, cars made in the US or something like that. So, this is trying to get a little bit better. What's GM doing today? GM is down 69 cents. I guess you could try and nibble that. GM and Ford are the worst things to trade. Maybe we trade them twice a year. But anyway, TLT, TLT broke lower a little bit. I had a really nice option trade on here. Did I even get at it? Yeah, very, very small left. What's it doing this morning? The TLT's down 37 cents. TLT's coming in. Maybe TLT's are buyable. After 3 days, you had a little bit of a red dog reversal here. Okay, broke below the 8-day, so maybe you got out. If you got out, see what happens into this spot. I'm not going to be really adding to the TLT. Danny English is talking Ukrainian to me. That's pretty cool. All right. What else? Listen, when you're in an environment where there's volatility and there's a lot of market discovery, you have to just really be, light on your feet. Starting 2 weeks ago, I started telling you guys low gross, low net. What does low gross, low net mean? It means, trying not to make too much so you don't lose too much. Make a little bit and stack them. There's big enough ranges where you can make a lot of money. I've had a really good week. Now today, hopefully, I don't give too much of it back because I'm in a bunch of positions. So these are my positions, which, I'm not going to lie about it. I have a bunch of positions. I'm going to see what I could do. I'm long little spiders, a little NVIDIA, a little IBIT, ASTS, Dash, Lunar. I had a reason for all these. Tesla was probably something I didn't need to be in, but Tesla I play pretty well, and it felt like maybe you put a little bit of a lower level here. I didn't get stuck in Tesla at 488 or 439 or 367 or when it broke 325. So I'm like, you know what? Looks pretty decent here. Looks like it filled the gap. Very broken though. Maybe you can get back to the 8-day. So when you're playing a Q trade, sometimes it can make you, a little bit ugly. So we'll see what Tesla does say. What's Tesla doing this morning? It's only down 480. That's not so bad. You know what? I'm long small overnight, so maybe I'll buy a little bit versus a level, and if it can go green, you know what? I'll make more money than if it opened up $4. So let's be optimistic about the day, but have multiple plans. Somebody's like, well, what about JD? JD looks good. I got to give it to my intern / what do we call you, Conrad? Red Dog mindset guy. He's also a trader. He's been doing it for a while. So he's young. He's like, hey, he's like, Red Dog, what about JD? I'm like, you know what? JD looks pretty good. And obviously Bob looks very good. So the Chinese names are doing better. Some guys are in Baidu also versus this gap. Baidu is traded very poorly. I have a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth to Baidu because if you remember, we've had a really good trade here and then I had some for earnings and then that happened. And I lost on my earnings play, but that happens. Trades change, setup changes. That's what the market's meant to do, is trying to get as many people not to ride a train or a gravy train. Nobody wants in, they got to make you work for it. So Baidu, they're definitely making you work for it. If you're long Baidu, just say even from here, it's trading better, and see if it works higher. You have autonomous vehicles, you have robots, you have all these things going on, and it's been getting no love. So maybe it plays catch up. But right now, Baba is leading the way. You might as well always be in the leader, which is Baba. Power Plays got in yesterday, so congratulations to them. We'll see how much of today's gap holds. JD, I think, had numbers. So if you took it, maybe you took an option play. This is your next level. This is 47.82. So this is up here. It has some room. And once again, we'll see what goes on with the SPYs today. Do the SPYs hold 572, 573 and come off lows? Or do we have a gap down today that doesn't get filled, creates another little hole in the chart, and then we break here for, lower level? Here we are. I'm still, by the way, it's great to have multiple time frames. Yesterday around 7 o'clock, I posted my roadmap. What's my roadmap? My roadmap is 7 accounts. What's my 7 accounts? I have an active account to take advantage of emotion, meaning when there's over emotion, cool heads prevail, you make cash. I'll have a swing account when the market's trending. Market's not trending right now, so it should be really light. Then I have an option account to do risk is premium paid, and then a box that makes everything bigger or worse. So those are my 4 accounts that get paid quarterly for T3 as the Chief Strategic Officer Trader. And then I have my 401k. Don't sell your 401k. Always put your flows in every single month. If you're 35, 50, I'm 52 now. It doesn't, don't even look. Same thing for a 403b, and the Blood in the Street account is meant for when there's blood in the street. SPYs were 5% off highs. That's not blood in the street. I put it to work 17 times. I'm waiting. I also need to close on the lows because it's through Brighthouse. Buy enough time to be wrong on your options during this. I don't get that. Buy enough time to, okay. What'd you say? Tuesday low is 623 on Meta. Yeah, listen, these things aren't down that much. It's just you're not getting upside follow through. So you got to figure out if you had too much on. It's not the stock's fault, it's your fault. So, we'll see, does this, hold this spot? This spot is what? This is 637, and I showed you kind of what yesterday's spot is. So right now it's at 650. So, right now these things aren't showing a full trap. They're showing just, a down open that we need to manage. And that's what we do. We manage our positions and we try and make the right decision at the right time. The only way you're going to do that is if your head's in the right place. So hopefully your head's in the right place. And if you watch the 630 Club, I'm sure it is. If you've been watching the 630 Club, which has been for free since 2020, over 5 years, what I would do is subscribe to Red Dog Mindset and do the 25-20 with the 630 Club. And if you lock in now, I think it's only $10 a month, not even 33 cents a day. You'll get it very cheap and you'll be grandfathered in versus if, just say in the June, it's $100. Might be, might not be. I'm just putting it out there. So, if you find value in the morning process, you should subscribe. If not, there are a lot of guys that spend a lot more to be on the alpha team where they get me all day long, get 40 charts and get to see the positions live as we go up and down. And then Redler All Access gets 40 charts. So if you want the early look, it's a pretty low barrier to entry. But anyway, someone just asked me, what about Google? Google's acting better, little bit. It's being seen as a value play. It put its low in first. Put its low in on Tuesday. Yesterday made a higher low, so I'm sure Google's lower. So Google's worth a look this morning. It's down $1.58. So yeah, Google's trying to act better. Again, someone like Riverdo, this is just a bear flag. I hear you. It could be, or it could be a lower pivot area that wants to bounce from. This was a bear flag also, if you remember. Remember this bear flag down here? Sometimes bear flags are bear flags, and sometimes they're lower levels for them to start acting better. So if it's going to be a acting better, it's going to hold 169 and take out 173. Do you care more about a previous? I look at the daily. Can you change the intro music? I could probably do that. I could ask Mike, my right hand man, to change it. But anyway, music and this and that, it's those are all semantics. But I do look at the prior day's low, so this is important to me, right? So what you could do it you can go as deep as you want. So if you're in Google and you're saying, hey, the trade changes if it breaks yesterday's lows, that's one spot. If you want to get some more micro data, what you do, you go Google, and then you want to maybe look at, it's a 171. Maybe you don't want to wait till 169. You want to see what the intraday chart looks like from yesterday. And the intraday chart says, hey, it'll be even better, if it holds this 171.50 area. So, this would be constructive if it holds to go green. If it breaks this, then it's got nothing to the low. So how much do you want to break it down? Most active traders who trade for a living will break it down. Like right now, actually, Palantir is not so bad. Palantir's at 88. I'm probably going to add to this. Hopefully, it goes green. If it goes green and has a push and it goes where it was last night, I'll make a lot more money than if it opened up $1 or $2 because I'd be, selling some according to my sell rules. All right, guys, I appreciate it. 6:54, time to go do my 40 charts for the Alpha team. Later, guys.